Good morning, everybody. Got a little prediction here set up on the SPY. So to get into it, we're looking at a downside metric here from yesterday's mega force up. We have a couple different markers working for us really well here. What I'm looking at is the purple level right here. This is the opening pre-market tick. So I love the opening pre-market tick. We also have an algo in here this morning. If you see this interesting little wick here, we're going to 5-minute high-low that out. And that's going to get us our little bit of a box here of the GP. And what I see here is price action kind of looming up here on the SPY, gap up because we are down here for yesterday's highs and close. Again, as you see kind of the structure here, push into another high, one low, and then starting the lower high attempt, we are going to see if that golden pocket holds as resistance and comes down to yesterday's highs. Because again, there's no reason for a gap and go right now, especially in the all-time high engulfing. So if you go to that daily chart right here, you're going to notice just over here, right, just over yesterday's highs, we are at the all-time high candle. So a lot of the time, the low and opens become over under levels here at an all-time high. So we have 632 as our weekly golden pocket. So if you were to draw a Fibonacci from last week's high-low, we will get to the 61.8 right here at 632. I highly suspect we'll get a live tag of that this morning. And what I mean by live is no pre-market tags, actual live tags. So if you look at yesterday here, notice that 632, no tag. So after hours, pre-market doesn't matter. And here today we'll have that live. So as long as it's holding above that weekly, I'm not really looking for the easy short sentiment. But if we do start to fail here under the golden pocket and come down to yesterday's high, since there's a very minimal chance that we will have any kind of upside here, then we will check on the gap fill first. So plan is to stay under the pre-market open, under the GP, and I'll see you guys down here at yesterday's highs. So we'll take a short follow-through position for about 12 to 13 points on ES. The last leg of that move, and last leg of prediction, I should say, has to do with the VIX. So you're going to see the volatility index here on a big wipeout. I called it down to around the 17 fill before it was going to bounce, so we got a little bit of time left on the scan. And that's that right there. So this has to fill on VIX, in my opinion, which is a gap on the daily. We only have a little tiny bit left because this is the trap scam for the rest of pre because it's too early to short. And this is a guaranteed move. Watch. It's going to come down to 17.18. Press in, slip down under 7.18 a little bit, and then it's going to gouge back up, go back up to the 5-minute 100 EMA. So our short play is going to be activated when the VIX fills the daily gap right here. It's a small sliver left, 717. It'll slip past that. It'll hold that as support, and it'll start rocket shipping up to the 100 EMA or pushing very early into the 100 EMA, taking it back down, and then we'll actually long the SPY off yesterday's highs. So let's watch this play out in pre and get her done. So to start the prediction of the pre-market off, we had started right around 6:30 a.m. Central here. And we noted that we have a minor gap up on SPY, right? So we have our weekly GPs. We have yesterday's highs, yesterday's close, way down here near 631.22 or so. And we noted that there was absolutely no reason for a gap up. So we called anything under the pre-market open down to yesterday's highs called. And then as we slowly articulated the trade, as pre-market is generally too early to assume full flush downs until about that 7:30 a.m. marker, and then I like to see the moves start to go. We have an over under here for the weekly for the day, but as we had called many times, this is our jam. We are needing the downside of VIX first. So let's see the call here. We identified the VIX $17.17. This was called yesterday, where the VIX needed to come down to 17.17 on the daily gap, right? So 17.17. Needed the loop switch. Let's bring the VIX over. What's it look like? Okay, this is exactly what we called as it comes down. Almost filled the gap. Scam. Sweep and, well, slip, I suppose, the gap. As posted, VIX daily looking for fill. Long to 100 EMA 5-minute after the VIX is closed. Okay, that was posted in our chat here, as you see. Long to the 100 EMA. VIX daily gap closed. So on and so forth. I also called at 6:57 that the 1-minute chart was looking for sweeps. Okay. We had a huge resistance wall here, hit many times with a fresh low. After a fresh low scam, what better of the market to push all the way up on a Trump catalyst, as we called, sweep everybody, trap the longs, and the ones that don't understand algos, that need magnets, to come back down. We posted a few other intradays and an algo that we needed live tags on. So anything under that double top would come down to that live tag and continue lower, right? So after posting some more news and our entry exits as called, we would sweep the top 1 minute here. We would short that and we would panic down to yesterday's highs. Okay, so let's go over it on the chart as well. Now, as we get into the SPY here, this is what it looks like now. Why do we need a live tag? First off, we're in a gap up for absolutely no reason. So as I posted in the chat, we are at an all-time high candle. We had the huge gap down, and we discussed last video on how we were going to come all the way back up, fill the gap, and potentially get all the way back up here. But first, nothing goes in a straight line. This is the all-time high candle. This is yesterday's candle. If you look real close, right, we closed inside that low of the all-time high. There is no reason, and that I've ever seen, that there is a gap up inside of an all-time high candle and go. So this, for Monday, we were trading up here inside the all-time high candle. That is a no-no. Algos do not like that. That is an all-time high fluctuation. That just does not happen. Okay? Just going to have to trust me on that one. I had it in the journal. I've been teaching it for 10 years. Now, as we come in to the day, we see that pre-market high double top, the sweep we called, and as we posted in our journal entries this morning on Discord, you can check it out, we said the sweep. So when we fib out a high low of the algo, we look at like a gap to fill both sides of those algos a lot of the time. And if you notice where this algo is made and where we fibbed it, we broke down for the trap, came in, and this obviously hits all the lower sides of the algo, wick and body. Now we come up. We start to shy once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. This is the 1 minute that I posted on ES saying we needed a sweep. And this is why we needed a sweep, because the top of that algo was still not hit. It was shied right here, right? So as we moved into that sweep call, we dumped her right down to the GP of said algo. And as we had it here, and as we called anything under the GP and under the weekly, will come down to yesterday's highs. That was the entry point sweep. Trump was the catalyst, and the algo right here, most importantly, needed to be filled from the bottom to the top before it could come down to yesterday's highs.